One of the areas that can be particularly confusing for startups is the various different things you need to register for and how you can go about doing it. Whilst HMRC will tell you how to register for individual things, there isn't much in the way of helping you work out exactly what you need to register for in the first place. So the first thing to do is look at what you personally may need to register for. If you'll be classed as self-employed, i.e. receiving an income that is not paid via the pay-as-you-earn, otherwise known as PAYE scheme, then you'll need to register as self-employed. If you have any income that is not taxed at source, then you'll need to register for self-assessment. This gives you access to complete your personal tax return each year, either via the paper or online based forms. In addition to this, you'll need to arrange to pay your Class 2 National Insurance contributions if you do not already receive an income through PAYE. This is something which is commonly overlooked and will eventually result in a large bill arriving should you choose to ignore it. The reason this tax is often overlooked is that when you complete your self-assessment tax return, you'll notice you may be paying national insurance contributions already. However, there are actually two types to pay: Class 2, which is a regular weekly fixed contribution, and Class 4, which is based upon the amount you earn. Class 4 is the only one which is deducted on your annual tax return. Class 2 must be paid separately throughout the year. Thankfully, Class 2 contributions will only cost you a few pounds each week and can be set up as a direct debit so that they'll be barely noticeable. To register for any of these things, that's being self-employed, completing self-assessments or paying your Class 2 national insurance, you should contact HMRC or check their website for the latest guidance. This covers all of the main things you'll need to look at on a personal level, although you will need to check your own individual circumstances, as there may be other things that you need to address. As far as your company is concerned, there are also some things that you'll need to do. The first thing is to register your company with HMRC once it becomes active. You have to do this within 3 months of starting business activity, otherwise HMRC will assume your company is dormant. By doing this, you'll be letting them know you are eligible to pay corporation tax on any profits that the company makes. Once this is done, you may need to register for PAYE if you intend on paying any employees a wage that is taxed at source. If you are only employing freelance workers, you'll not need to do this, as you'll be paying them as a provider of services rather than as an employee of the company. You may also need to register for value added tax, or VAT as it's more commonly known. However, this will depend on your business income level, as you'll only need to register once you reach, or expect to reach, a certain level of income. Again, check the HMRC website to find out what the current level is, as it can change every tax year. You should be aware that the law around VAT is quite strict. If you're registered, then you'll need to charge VAT on all eligible transactions. But on the bright side, you can then offset any VAT you pay against that which you have charged. If you are not registered for VAT, then it's actually against the law to charge it to your customers, although you will still need to pay it on some purchases. Whilst it's only required to register for VAT once your income reaches a certain level, it's possible to register voluntarily if you wish. Whilst it will create extra paperwork and mean you have to charge VAT on your prices, it can work out favourably if most of your business is done with other companies who are also VAT registered. So it's important to look at your own position to establish if you should register for VAT on a voluntary basis or just wait until you reach the income level when it becomes a requirement. Both PAYE and VAT can be registered for via the HMRC website. Another registration you may need to undertake with HMRC is that of money laundering. This is applicable if you provide a certain range of services to businesses or deal in transactions over a certain size. Although the registration process is pretty straightforward, there is a fee for it, and you'll need to register each director of the business and each premises the business uses to provide the services. You'll then also need to do an anti-money laundering check for each customer who takes a qualifying service from you. The first thing to do is check the HMRC website to find out if the services you'll provide are covered by the money laundering regulations. If not, then you will not need to carry out any checks or register. Another registration you may need is that of data protection, which usually applies if you are obtaining and storing personal information about any individuals. Registration is relatively low cost, and you can check if you are required to register your business on the ICO, that's Information Commissioner's Office website. So that summarises the main registration requirements for a new business, although it's by no means an exhaustive list. You may also need to look into registering with specific bodies or organisations in your industry, and may also need to take out some forms of business insurance. As a responsible business owner, it's up to you to find out what you need to register for and ensure you comply with all of the rules and regulations. Unfortunately, ignorance of any regulations is not an acceptable excuse, and so it's well worth spending some time researching the requirements to give yourself that peace of mind.